Unfortunately, we were not born with an instruction manual of how to use our brain. And as a result, most of us are paying the price for this because our brains are running us instead of the other way around. The purpose of this video is to show you why you need to take back control of your brain and use it in a way that allows you to be in the driver's seat and create the life you want. You may be surprised to learn that your brain has a less than perfect operating system. I personally think that it is somewhat faulty, and let me explain why. Your brain works on the premise that everything you learn occurs through repeated thoughts and actions. With enough repetition, the learning gets transferred into your long-term memory and becomes an automatic behaviour that occurs at an unconscious level. Examples include riding a bike or driving a car. When you first learnt to drive a car, you had to think about it. And it may have been a little bit nerve-wracking trying to remember everything, especially if you have a manual drive. However, after a while you found that the more you drove, the easier it became. In fact, with enough practice, it became so easy that one day you found yourself driving into your driveway and you didn't even remember getting there. The first time this happened, you probably admonished yourself saying, "Wow, I could have had an accident. I need to pay more attention next time." However, you find it happens again, and after a while you just accept that your conscious mind is not always aware when you drive. What is happening here is that through repetition, your brain has transferred the information into the unconscious part of your brain, your long-term memory, and you are now operating on automatic pilot. In theory, this is very clever. Can you imagine what it would be like to continually have to relearn everything all the time? You would never have learnt to walk, talk, eat, acquire social skills, etc. In fact, your brain is so attuned to operating this way that neuroscience has now discovered that between 95 and 99% of what you think and how you behave is unconscious. However, there is a problem with this system of operation, because all information eventually makes its way into your unconscious through the power of thoughts. Unfortunately, your brain cannot distinguish between a thought you might have to learn something or a thought you might have which says you're stupid, not good enough, or maybe even that people don't like you very much. If you continue to have these thoughts, your brain will presume that you want them placed in your subconscious and will create behaviours where you will appear stupid, fail at doing things, and specialise in becoming a wallflower. Added to this, your brain is designed to fast-track learning during the first 12 years. And as such, it is in a fully and semi-hypnotic learning state, which means that you accept the majority of what you were told and exposed to during the first 12 years of your life. You basically didn't have the capacity in those early years to filter out the good from the bad and the ugly. Again, in theory, it appears like a good idea because during those first 12 years, you had a lot of information to absorb so that you could become fully functional. But, and there is a really big but here, there is a very high probability that you're exposed to a lot of negative stuff. Think about your early school years, relationships with parents and siblings, issues with friends, etc. And all this negative stuff is locked away in your unconscious, playing itself out continually in your life with thoughts and statements of, "Oh, I'm not good at that. Yeah, I often feel uncomfortable and intimidated around those type of people. I would really like to have this in my life, but it just isn't possible. Other people have all the luck. I wish I looked like X," and the list goes on. The really scary part here is that you accepted all this as being true, and it's not. All it is a bunch of thoughts that your brain has placed on automatic pilot that continues to run your life. So what is the answer? How do you stop all the limiting thoughts that are locked in your unconscious from preventing you from having and achieving the life you want? The first thing is to accept that any negative or limiting thoughts that you took on during the first 12 years are not the truth of you. It is simply a bunch of thoughts that you took on as being true because your brain was in a hypnotic and semi-hypnotic state. and was unable to filter out the good from the bad and the ugly. It doesn't make much sense to go back and change every limiting thought because it would take a ridiculous amount of time to do so. You can, however, reprogram your brain to give you a more empowered way of thinking. In order to do this, you need to make a decision to take back control of your thinking. This can be best achieved by investing in some type of brain training system that allows you to reprogram your brain for success. This involves exposing yourself to positive and empowering information that reshapes the way you think. Have you ever noticed a difference in your mood when you're exposed to positive people as opposed to negative people? Unfortunately, you can't always be around positive and stimulating people, but you can replicate this by listening to positive and stimulating information on a daily basis. Some people listen to motivational CDs and are inspired by them, and over a period of time they start to change the way you think. I have been someone who has used this method, but I still found it limiting as it changed some things, but not enough to make a real difference in my overall thinking on a consistent basis. Because I was tired of being at the mercy of a bunch of limiting and self-defeating thoughts, I decided to develop my own brain training system. But I needed something that was quick, easy and convenient to listen to because I lead a very busy lifestyle. So I got to thinking, what would it take to replicate the brain state of the first 12 years when the brain was in a hypnotic and semi-hypnotic state? Research revealed to me that the brain during the first 12 years is in what's called a theta and alpha brainwave state. So I developed a series of audio programs no more than 10 minutes in length that replicate the alpha and theta brainwave states. Success at last. Finally, I found a quick and easy way of taking back control of my brain and use it for gain and not pain. I personally use these audio programs every day and is giving me the belief and the freedom to live the life I want. And if I can't find 10 minutes during the day, I will listen to it when I get into bed at night, which has the added benefit of going directly into my long-term memory. The key to your success lies in understanding that you are not who you think you are. You are the sum of your thoughts, most of which were embedded during the first 12 years. Who you are is only limited by your thoughts because that is the way your brain works. The real truth is you are unlimited in what you can do and be. Anytime you tell yourself you cannot achieve something or you will never be happy and successful, it is just a thought. It is not real unless you choose to make it real. Right now you have a choice in this very moment of how you want to live your life, empowered or enslaved. The reality is you don't have to be a victim of your life anymore. Just making this choice with a lot of feeling and conviction will go a long way in helping you take back control of your brain and create the life you want.